All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Readers. I think it's been a really long time since I've covered these three on a single video, but I want to look at Palantir, I want to look at AI, and I want to look at SOUN. And there are some real beautiful candles on all three of these, all right? I hope you see it before I even say it. Look at this candle. The high of the day on Friday was $27.25. Lo and behold, we close at $27.25. The entire Friday, people were buying, wanting more, and they said, you know what, that's it, we're closed, come back on Monday, all right? I love that. When you look at AI, not as big, not as high of the day, but that's a nice candle, breaking some moving averages. And then SOUN after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 dojis on a line where we already saw what, 6 dojis before. It seems like we're making that big candle move up instead of that feared big candle move down, right? So all three of these I think look very good. And look, I'm not going to cover NVIDIA too much, but NVIDIA dropped a very big candle on Thursday and essentially, you know, I would say did okay on Friday, right? So kind of interesting to see the three go a little bit opposite with those, right? It was Friday for the other three, but hey, you got to remember, if you're trading stocks, you got to look, sorry, if you're trading tech stocks, excuse me, you got to make sure you know where NVIDIA is, regardless if you have a dollar in it or not, all right? So excited to talk about these and a little bit more, but before we do go any further and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can, please subscribe to this channel. Share this video online with your friends. Comment good or bad if you disagree. Look, anything you can do helps so much with these YouTube algorithms. But for real, just being here and giving me your time, oh, I am so grateful for it, all right? So Palantir. Let's talk about Palantir. And you know, we were talking about this a bunch on the Chart Readers one. You can actually see it was the very last thing we talked about here. And then on the MEM one as well, PLTR, I remember talking about that 27 line. Give me a second. All right. Right here. So this was back on June 19th, so a couple weeks ago. Palantir is hungry to test all-time highs. Not sure it breaks it on the first test, but it's hungry for more, all right? And it was around, it was around right here, right? It was around that June 16th timeline, or sorry, June 19th timeline. We made that first attempt up to the wall, up to this resistance line. And as I zoom out, all right, as I zoom, let's just look at the weekly. It'll be easier to see on the weekly. This line right here is I mean, there is, so let me, I'm getting a little too excited, okay? Between this line, the distance between any two lines is a channel, okay? You can make the channel moving average lines, you can make them support and resistance lines, whatever. When this line breaks, and you can argue that it broke on Friday, we'll get to that detail shortly, right? But after this line, there is not a lot stopping us between here and 32. Green, red, and pretty much years of nothing. All right, we have not been over this line since this week. No, let's be honest, since this week, since October of 2021, we have been under that line. There were little wicks, little moments on the weekly, but those are nothing. This was the first time since, let me say it one more time for anyone in the back, October of 21. This is the first week we've been over that 2665 line. That's monstrous, all right? Going from here to here is a fast channel, and then breaking this line right here makes me think all-time highs. Clearly, we've been higher. Clearly, we've been there. Clearly, there was a wick moment all the way up there. This is the line. This is the golden line for a reason, all right? So that's really what we're hunting, and it seems like it's a fast elevator from here to here, all right? So let's go back to the daily, and then again, I'll get into the technicals of the weekly shortly, all right? So on that 19th, right? That was kind of the little tangent I went on right there. It looked like we were going to hit it. It didn't look like we were going to break, but it looked like this was hungry for more. I think that's a beautiful story of exactly what happens. And look, all we are doing is bouncing on the 8, losing it a little bit, but look, number one, the 20 is right here to hold it. Number two, we never actually confirmed the loss. That's a bad candle. That's not confirmation. We're right back over it and going, right? So actually the 8 moving average is holding this thing well. And again, I started the video with it. This is as pretty a candle as you can get, all right? Two things. Number one, we're gaining some separation from the 8 moving average. Number two, we break a resistance line. Number 2.5, we don't just barely kind of break it. We don't even just like, all right, break it. We monster break it. Like that's halfway in the candle, right? Like that's a good. And now look, I'm going to get back to the confirmation shortly, right? And then again, the very last thing, there's nothing better than the close of the day being the same as the high of the day. And that's literally what you see if you're looking at the very first line and then the third line. You can see it's that same 27.25 that you see right there. So monster candle here. You have a beautiful divergence. You got the green going up and the red staying down. You got the green going up and the red staying down. MACD and the RSI with that same divergence. MACD's already positive. Look, 72 is a little bit high. This thing can still go up till we go to 80s. And look, we know that this thing, oh, it hasn't done it in a while. Interesting. But it's done, like it knows how to actually stay relatively horizontal up there when it's right. So, it's hard for me to think anything other than 32 right now. It really is. All right. So what am I going to be looking for? I think by Friday, because right now I'm on the weekly chart. I think by Friday next week, we want to close just a little over 28. 28.15 is kind of where I was clicking on the weekly. As I zoom out, what are you up here? 28.45. Yeah, look. On Monday, I don't need a crate. Sorry, it's hard to like find the angle. That's like, I really want to. Yeah, I like that 28.17. That's actually almost where I clicked the same place both times. Give me that 20. You can honestly, I think, even go a little lower to maybe that 27.75. It's another 50 cents on. I guess that's actually not that bad. But look, no, I think I'm going to stick with my number. We're looking for 28.15. Now, granted, that's a good number just to end Friday with, okay? If we can just end Friday with that, that's going to confirm the weekly. That stayed over, that broke. We're going to confirm the confirmation on the weekly. On Monday, I would like to pop that really quickly just to confirm the break of the resistance. But yeah, this is looking good. This is looking hungry for more. I feel like I've been going in a circle saying the same thing. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. Let's take a look at AI. Look, this is nice right here. This is nice right here. And really, even before I talk about why I like this right now, I think a really important thing to talk about is this late June moment. All right. So sorry, really quickly, if you can subscribe, if you can share, oh, it does wonders with the algorithms. All right. So look, I always talk about trying to break all 5 and fly. All right, that's you lose all 5 and you die. And this thing's done it. This thing loses all 5 right here, and I mean falls, right? So this thing knows both sides of the rhyme. It definitely knows the other side, right? It broke them all right here and flew. So I like a stock that actually does in some ways move parabolic, right? When it goes super high up and then super low down when it loses or breaks. Nonetheless, look, we tried to break all 5, and clearly we were over all 5 lines for what? 3, 6, 9, 10 days, right? The thing is, sorry, that's my cat in the back, excuse me. There is a difference between being over and breaking all the lines, all right? And look, that's a good big bad candle right there. Sorry, that's a good candle right there, right? That's not confirmation. And granted, all of these keep kind of staying up, and there's actually more green than red, but none of these are that good. You can argue maybe this one was, because I'm looking at it. You can see this June 5th, the high of the day was the close of the day. it was, you can see there's no wick on the top. And if you're looking at the box, we close at 30.56. 30.56 was also the high of the day, right? So that one is arguably a good candle, but look, this one was so far behind any other one. That's not confirmation behind it. Clearly that's a good candle. Doji don't count. This is not a good green, right? And lo and behold, we make our way down. Instead of focusing on the lo and behold, we make our way down, I'm really emphasizing the moving averages doing their job. All right. The 100 is a very hard line to break up. It's a hard line to lose down. The 200 is an even harder line to break up and a harder line to lose down. When they are literally pennies apart or almost on each other, that's a very, very, very strong support. That is the support that caught this thing. That is the place it was able to bounce off. It couldn't get over the 20, gets over the 20, right? And again, I love that AI is seemingly in unison with Palantir. I'm a little surprised NVDA has a good Thursday and a decent Friday instead of what we saw in the other ones, which was a decent Thursday and a good Friday. This isn't a bad candle though. Hey, we're around half the Thursday. We're still at least holding the 8. Obviously, I would have loved to hold the 20 as well, right? But this at least gives us a reason to think, hey, Monday's got a shot. More importantly, I like this setup on AI, which is specifically what we're talking about, right? This needs to confirm. This for sure needs to confirm. And remember, we basically take 2 moving averages on the single candle. So I need a good confirmation. This right here is my bare minimum. I think I'd actually even like a little bit higher, but we need more than 30.60. We need more than $30.60 on Monday. I would again say that's probably the bare minimum. 30.50, 30.60. I would love me like a 30.75. I think if you can hit 30.75, that's good confirmation, and there's reason to believe there's at least another 10% there. We're taking us to a 33%, a $33 target, all right? MACD is positive. We don't have the green over red divergence on both. Obviously, the red is still over the green, but it does look like give me a good Monday, and the MACD will overtake that. Volume's been very lackluster. I don't think I talked about volume much on Palantir. Yeah, even Palantir's actually had some lackluster volume, but give us a little bit more volume, break that 50-day volume line, and oh man, good things were happening. We are looking for 10 million shares, all right? If I'm looking for 10 million shares in a 7-hour day, give me like 1.5 million shares in the first hour, give me 3 by the second hour. Oof, that would be pretty hard to stop AI from confirming, all right? I would say worst case, we might end up falling actually as low as 28.50. Hopefully we get that 30.75, 30.60 that we were talking about. Let's take a look at the weekly. I mean, again, look, the weekly is trying to get over all the moving averages. Not quite a good confirmation candle. I am glad though. Look, obviously we closed at 29.81. This candle looks like it was a little lower, and it was 29, basically 60, right? So a little bit higher than this, but again, you know I need a good candle to confirm. I would say both, but hey, this is a nice MACD and RSI on the weekly. Volume is just so ugly. We need some volume. What's your weekly? 40. Yeah, give me 10 million on Monday. That'll give us a shot to also break that weekly of 40, right? So AI looking good, looking good. Let's see if it can confirm. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. Let's end the sector with SOUN. All right, there's been a lot going on this $4 line. And again, like I started the video with it, this is now basically the third really big moment on that $4 line. This first one right here, this important recovery right there, and then seemingly a second recovery right here. All right, so real quickly, please, if you can subscribe, if you can share this video, oh, it does wonders with the algorithms. All right, so you know I find up here way more important than anything else, but I have to start with the volume. All right, SOUN in February to what, half of March. Obviously, it's really easy to look at the run from sub dollar to over 10, right? I mean, how can you not focus on that? The volume is really the big story on SOUN. Volume is king. That is my #2 golden rule. It's a video I made back in the day. You can go find it in the Knowledge Center. Volume is queen for the ladies that are watching this video, all right? When you go from pushing 300 million, from hitting 200 million, to legit being at 100 million shares every single day for a month and a half, and then all of a sudden you fall to this barely able to hit 10 million, you've given up significant volume. You've given up more than 90% of that baseline 100, let alone the 200 and 300 million days, right? So volume has been wildly insignificant. And I think I'm not using that word lightly. However, all right, and it's a big however, before the NVIDIA pop, volume was barely at 5 million. So we went from this 5 million low to what I just called a bad 10 million. And when you look at it in that viewpoint, that's monster. You just doubled your baseline volume from a month and a half of hype. And again, for someone that was buying this in the $10 and sitting at a little bit more than a 50% loss, I know that's a horrible feeling, right? But hey, volume is now basically 2xing like that's big. All right, obviously we want these big pops, and obviously we want to break all the moving averages and run and all the little rhymes that I say and this and that, right? But volume dictates so much. When a stock loses volume, that's insignificance. When a stock gains volume, all of a sudden you're this like relevant daily machine, and that's what builds sustainability. All right, and that's important. You got to look at that. But yeah, clearly this was good because of that, but it is hurting the price. Like I said, we are literally less than 50%. We've lost 60%, right? We lost 6 of that 10 since the peak, right? That said, we're at this. Sorry, I didn't mean to zoom in. I didn't need to. We're at this very important $4 line, and rarely do I say I think my line that I drew is more important than the moving averages. But I've been saying this $4 line is wildly critical. I know on a past video I said if we lost the 4, this 200 line would do absolutely nothing. And you rarely hear me say that, because I mean this is the hardest line of them all, right? This is the last one for a reason. If that 4 went down, if we saw that equivalent, like I know 6% isn't the biggest of percents, right? That's a big candle. If that thing was a red one down here, I really don't think this would have held, and I really think we would have fallen back to the 2s, maybe like 275. The great thing is right now, I like this setup. I actually do, for 2 reasons. The first one is, look, hey, the 20 is a hard line, the 50 is an even harder line, and the 100's an even harder line, but there's good spacing between these. There's also a red like elevator that can go green just to the 50. And then at the 50, there's another red, green, red. Like we can elevator from the 50 to the 100. Like there is a nice channel between these 2 lines. There's a nice channel between these 2 lines. I think it's very fair to put a 460 target right now. I actually think this 460 target will break because the MACD is starting to pick up a little bit. I'm barely seeing it, but we got the green over red. It seems like it's just a step ahead of AI, who's just below it. That RSI is actually the same on everyone. Everyone has this nice divergence, and man, RSI was so low. It was a 6 point something. This 31 for sure, I don't want to say for sure because nothing's for sure. This thing should come back up to the 50s. What we need to find out is, are we going really low just to come back up, just to go really low again? Or are we going to go? Okay. And at the moment, I'm not 1,000% sure if we're going to break 5. But hey, going from 4 to 5 is a beautiful little move right there, right? I think that's breakable, and I think that's doable. From there, we'll see what happens here. I think some of that might be tied to NVIDIA, right? NVIDIA is doing its very best to hold the 20 moving average. I'm surprised it hasn't lost it. One thing I said was, as long as it can hold it, it'll give the 50 moving average some time to catch up. I don't think we're going below that 112. I think it's even easier to say that as we see that 50 moving average keep coming up, right? But NVIDIA's holding. I don't know if you fast forwarded, but Palantir is looking good. AI is starting to look good. When the sector looks good, that's a good thing, right? So Yeah, this is picking up. That $4 line held, and again, I rarely say it. I feel like that $4 line was way more important than any of the moving averages. I'll look at the weekly just to look at it. This looks like an ugly weekly. Let me at least just, I can't even like say anything other, right? Like it looks like the 8 moving average is coming down. It looks like the 20 is about to curl down. Those two are just kind of holding. We have red over green on the MACD. We have red over the green on, do we? I can't tell if the green is higher. Oh, wow, look at that. The RSI is 33.9. The red line is 33.84. So it's just barely there. But this is a bad weekly. But that's a good support. That's an important doji, and that's a good candle after the doji, right? So sometimes up here matters a little bit more. It actually, look at this, right? It seems like there's a clear line to this 450. I think that's the same, sorry. No, it's a little higher. And then there's another clear path right there to the 20 moving average sitting at 501 on the weekly. That's pennies away from that 497 on the daily. $5 I think is a good target for now. All right. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. Oh, I appreciate you so much.